कैवल्य क्लीं कैवल्य
Namaste and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam with the Kaivalya Marga class. As always, it's a great honor to be able to host this class. So thank you for being there. Thank you for inviting me into your home. Let's begin this class with 3 Ohms. So here we are in this class once again exploring the Panchabhutas, and we are specifically referring to the one that is the grossest of them all, the physical plane, the earth element, the Prithvi. And in connection with this, we have spent a couple of classes in exploring this, and I began teaching these classes at this very sacred temple, the Sri Ekambareshwar temple. We saw a little bit of that temple in the last class. We explored the story of the mango tree and so on. So if this is the first class that you're just logging into, I would earnestly suggest that you also see the previous classes. We are building up and learning as we go along. Just for the record, my aim in doing these classes is to build a database of these lessons as a course or so. Why am I saying that? It is because left to me, I would do one class every 2 weeks. The reason is there is so much to learn and so much to practice. The Kaivalya Marga class is not simply attending number of classes. Okay, so you're most welcome to attend every class of mine. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But please understand that you may have to revisit these classes and then once again take them one at a time and absorb them at a very slow pace. Because we might end up doing 100 classes by the end of this year or mid of next year. And 100 classes with so much information, the question would come, what is the retention? What is the transformation? What is the assimilation? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, as I always keep saying in these classes, I started with this very first. You listen and then you contemplate, and then you have to begin to assimilate into your everyday life. And when that begins to make sense, you will understand this even more better. So do these classes at your own pace. Don't feel guilty if you miss a particular class. I am not looking at how many people are logging in during my classes at this point in time. I am offering these, and you're most welcome to be part of this. Like I say, it's a great honor to be doing this live. But the aim is to leave it so that everyone can, when they come to study Kaivalya Marga or yoga in its spiritual perspective, in the spiritual approach, then they spend years understanding what is being taught in these classes. So that is the aim of me doing this twice a week. But as a student, I would um, I would honestly ask y'all to keep it in mind that you may have to come back to these classes and revisit them and relearn them if you're serious in actual transformation, in real spiritual progress. Because one has to understand, without assimilating these into everyday life, one loses the context. And then that's why there is a very subtle line drawn between a scholar and a philosopher and a sadhaka, a spiritual aspirant. So my aim is to make you a spiritual aspirant, to be there as a spiritual friend, because I consider myself a spiritual aspirant or aspirant, I don't know how to say that, but spiritual seeker, if you will. So I'm sharing this from the point of view of how it will help you and me and all of us to progress in this path in spirituality, begin to apply these concepts which otherwise are very abstract and may sound very theoretical. Okay, so please take time to revisit these classes and absorb them one at a time. Meditate upon the concepts that you want to contemplate upon, think more deeply upon, see how these lessons apply to you, and then progress to the next class, because then you really absorb these concepts. And if these fundamental concepts are not absorbed well, then we go into studying into pardon me yoga sutras and all of that. Then it becomes there you get more and more technical in application, but these are very firm foundations that has to be laid. So please pay attention to these classes, and I always say if necessary revisit them and learn from them. Okay, so I just wanted to put it out there because I got a few texts and messages saying, I missed a previous class. Can I come and join this class? And I've not been able to keep up with the class. I feel so guilty. You don't have to feel guilty at all. I mean, the slower you are and in catching up, I would be more happier because I know then you're taking your time to understand it and pick up these classes. So there's something I wanted to share. It was on top of my mind, so I wanted to put it out there. Let's go with the class now. In the last class, we talked about something which was really not in the on the agenda, but I think the universe guided me to say that. And then I got so many of y'all texted me saying you want to know the mantras that I shared in the last class. So we will go with that today. So we talked about how in when we talked about the elements, the five fingers represent the five elements, and in the ancient practices of upasana or worship, we actually use these five fingers. And so, what are they? Just quickly, we'll go through them. The thumb represents the space element. The forefinger represents the wind element. The middle finger represents the fire element. The ring finger represents the water element. And the little finger represents the earth element. So it's ironical that earth, which is so big and so heavy and so much evident in our consciousness, is actually represented by the weakest finger in the weakest link in the chain, if you will, or the weakest finger in all your five fingers. And right opposite to that is the thumb. So there is something to think about right there. There are sounds associated with this. I'm introducing these sounds, and we will learn this in the mantra as well. These are the sounds that reverberates. When I say sounds, they're not the sounds the way you and I hear through our ears. These are vibrational patterns, and sound is a carrier of that vibration. So sound is the closest you can get to understanding a vibration. So hum is the vibrational sequence or the vibrational sound of the space, because ha, when you go ha, the mouth opens, ha, it opens wide, right? So deep inside that the idea of that openness comes, right? So that is the hum. Then you have the forefinger, the yum. Then you have ram, ra. Then you have vam, that is the water element. And then you have lam, that is the prithvi element. So we will take time to explore the sounds and other things more as we understand the mantra, because each of these has so many branches that shoot out, and then each of those branch becomes a subject by itself. So these are called bijakshara mantras. Then we go into mantras. So that's a whole different thing. So I don't want to get distracted, though I do mention these here and there. I don't want to get distracted from the subject matter itself. And so it is quite a challenge actually to stay on the path and stay tuned. So allow me to focus on what we are set out to do, understanding the earth element. And in the course of the earth element, for some reason, and I don't know what made me share that the idea of the 5 elements and the 5 fingers at that temple. So maybe that is how the universe designed it. And so here I am sharing with you in continuation from the previous class as to how we could tune in to the universe with the 5 fingers and offer a puja, a worship, as in the beginning of meditation, as a chant. So it brings our mind to a state of acute mindfulness. And then you can go into meditation of your favorite deity, form, energy, symbol, and so on. So this is called, it's a small puja. It's a short puja. It's like a 2-minute puja, if you will. Puja is worship. It's a ritual that gets it's very symbolic in nature, and which is done as part of all traditional rituals in the Sanatana Dharma tradition. Because it is 5, there is the word pancha. Pancha upachara. Upachara is offering. So 5-fold offering this puja is. Okay. So panchopachara puja. That is what this is called. Panchopachara puja. So in this you have the little finger, that is the earth element, and the mantra that goes with it. So let's take one at a time, one of them at a time. So make sure we learn this correctly. Since we touched upon it, I don't want to just brush through this. This whole concept of worship, symbolic rituals, which are very powerful, we will take that as a whole separate study. There is a tradition and there is a reason behind those traditions. There is a very powerful way to practice these rituals in a very meditative manner. We will explore that as a completely different subject. We are not there yet. We are still laying foundations. So within the earth element, somehow this creeped in. So the universe wants us to do that, and maybe this is a good time and a good place to do this. So out of the 5 elements, when I do this ritual as a symbolic offering, I can use both my hands, right? For this particular ritual, I use the thumb for the first one because I have to rub it against my little finger, because I am now focusing on the earth. I do this. So the action for these, let me give a better way to see this. So here you are. So here you have the thumb. So the way it goes is earth. So you can do it along with me. Earth, space. Okay, this is how you go to earth and space. Earth, space. Then you use the thumb for everything. Air, fire, and water. We start with earth. Always start with earth. Okay, and I'll come to that in a second. So this is how the physical part of it, the physical movements are earth, space. So earth is done with the thumb. Space alone is done with the forefinger. So you notice that we could have used the middle finger also like this, right? But they use the forefinger because of the chin mudra. The impact of the chin mudra happens here, right? Anyway, forefinger with space. And then you have again air, fire, water, and that's it, because we already did earth, right? So why do we start with the earth and not go earth, water, air, earth, water, fire? The middle finger is fire, air, and why don't we do space? It would have been logical to go one at a time. Why did we switch from earth and then directly go to space? Okay, a good question that could come in your mind. It came in my mind. And what seems very obvious here and important here to understand is we are creating our mind in a circular energy. There is a circular energy here that's created. So I start with space, I start with the earth, and then I reach to the space, and then I come back down. I'm sorry, it's I'm creating a two extremes first, and then I'm going down, and again coming up to the top and going down. You could call it circular, or you're creating a field of energy. So if you go from down to the top and leave it there and keep going down to the top, you have no reason to come back down, because you're just letting it go. But this way, you're maintaining the consciousness in a circular fashion, right? Um, Something like this is also taught in Kriya Yoga, where the energy is retained. The same thing is done in Chin Mudra as well. The energy is circulated within the body. So when you're also meditating, when you're offering it to the divine, your also mind is basically encircling the five elements. It starts with the earth, which is gross, then goes to the container space, and then comes back down towards the earth again, so that it can repeat the circle. So it starts down, goes up, and again comes back down to the water element. Okay, so it's very interesting to notice that in meditation it really helps. It helps to prepare the mind. That is why all this becomes a ritual, a tradition, and one says you have to do the earth first and then do the space. Because when you are doing focusing like this, when I'm doing this, I'm focusing on my Mooladhara. Then when I do this on my thumb and I go to space, I'm focusing on the Akasha element. And then when I come to Yam, I focus on the wind element. Then I focus on the fire element. Then I focus on the water element. Then if I wish to, I could repeat this again, earth element. Then again, I go back. So I'm creating this energy, becoming very mindful of this energy. Okay. So it's fascinating if you think of it that way. So you start with the earth, then go to space, and then come all the way down. Space, then air, then fire, then water, and again back to earth. Okay. So we start with the earth element. Okay. And incidentally, we started studying this Panchabhutas also from the earth element. We started, my first temple I visited was Ekambareshwar, the earth element. So that was good that I kept up to that tradition. All right. So, but we are not going to, we won't go through this way. When we do the classes after the earth, I will go to the water and go up, because there is a systematic way to study that. But in your ritualistic practice, in your meditation, start with the earth, then go to the space. Because you start with something you can feel and see, make peace with the earth. And then you go to the space and then come back down again towards the earth. All right. It's something like a tree, if you will. The seed is planted in the earth, the tree goes up, and again seed comes back down towards the earth. So that is a kind of a circular motion, a circular energy that is created internally as you do this. Okay, so the movement is clear now. Physical movement of your finger. You use the thumb for earth, then you use the forefinger for space, and then you use the thumb for air, fire, and water. So this is how the sequence will go. So now, having said that, so you can practice this: earth, fire, air, fire. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack a little bit. Earth, space, air, fire, water. Okay? Earth, space, air, fire, and water. So that is something for homework. All right. Now, having said that, let's come to this mantra. The first one, earth. What is this? What is the mantra? Om and Lam is now understood. Lam is the Bijakshara mantra of the earth element. The Bija mantra, the seed mantra, if you will. It's just a simple sound that activates the earth element, helps the earth element to come into balance. Okay? All these sounds have energies by themselves. They are little energy capsules, if you will. So when you chant Lam, it brings the earth, activates the earth element. In other words, it starts adjusting the earth element. If there's too much earth, it brings earth back into balance, and so on and so forth. All of this in association with lifestyle principles, balance, discipline, understanding, all of this becomes very effective. Okay. So Om, of course, is just to get your mind in a state of mindfulness. In traditional puja, some people use Om for every one of them. Some people don't. But now, since I'm teaching this as an isolated set of mantras, isolated set of chants that you can do before your meditation, or you could offer it to your Sadguru every morning, or your divine energy, or your divine chosen form, name and form that you can offer morning, evening, whenever you sit for meditation. Because you're going to do it in isolation, then it is better you chant Om before each one of them, because each element has to have a complete mindful approach when you're offering. And you don't have to chant one at a time and go fast. Take time to meditate on one, think what it means, and then go to the next one, offer the next one, right? So it begins like this. Om. So when you rub, as you chant, you're going to pass your thumb to this, through the little finger like this, right? So I'll keep this aside for now and focus on the chant. Om. The chant goes like this. Om Lam Prithvyatmikaye. Atmikaye is going to be Atmikaya is going to be a common word. Prithvi is the earth element. When I take Prithvi and Atmikaya and join it, it becomes Prithvyatmikaya. Okay? Om Lam Prithvyatmikaya Gandham Kalpayami. Gandham Kalpayami. We know now, and we have studied it, and we'll explore this further in a couple of classes, that the earth element is associated with smell. So what is now in a ritual, in an offering, what do? You offer, let's say, sandal paste is usually done. If you have sandal paste and you're doing a puja, then you take sandal paste and apply it to the idol. When you're applying sandal paste to the idol, the smell of the sandal comes to you, right? And that smell is what you're offering, this divine smell of the sandal paste. In other words, I am taking the smell energy of smell, because we know that's a tanmatra, correct? Tanmatra, as we studied in Sankhya. That's why I said go back to those classes. You have to have those classes really firm in mind. Otherwise, after a point, you will lose track. So, sense of smell is an energy principle. And so, you take that energy from the earth and you offer it to the divine. Om Lam Prithvyatmikaye Gandham Kalpayami. Kalpayami, Samarpayami is the right word. When I say right word, it is the word when you do Samarpayami, Samarpan, when you're offering an actual sandal paste and you're offering that, you're saying the smell of the sandal paste is actually representing the smell energy from the earth. Because earth represents the smell energy. The earth is a manifestation of that smell energy, and therefore I want to offer the smell energy from this earth to you. And sandal paste becomes a symbolic act and a symbolic material to represent smell, because it has such a divine smell. Okay? And it is earthy, it is solid, you can feel it, correct? So when you don't have the sandal paste actually to offer, then you do that in your mind. You imagine. So in my imagination, for example, I don't necessarily imagine sandal paste. Okay? I just imagine the smell, energy as is. All smells. Okay? All the smell of the earth, all the energy, the idea of smell from the earth becomes a perfume that I offer. I offer the Gandham to the chosen deity. So the chant goes like this. Om Lam Prithvyatmikaye Gandham Kalpayami. In my mind, I imagine and I'm offering it to you. So even when I'm offering, sometimes in the ritual, if I'm not able to tune into what I'm doing, I'll say, because when I have a sandal paste in my hand, when I do it in the ritual, I feel this doesn't represent all the smells in the earth, the entire earth smell. That must be even more grand than this. And therefore, I say kalpayami. Because even if I do it visually enough and I actually have a sandal paste that I'm offering as symbolic, I will still say, personally, left to me, I still say kalpayami, because in my mind I can imagine even more grander way, and so I offer it kalpayami. Kalpayami is exactly the same energy and the same power, if you will, as the actual offering. Okay, that is the you are utilizing the power of your mind, visualization, kalpana, to do this. So it doesn't make it any less important. Om lam prithvyatmikayai gandham kalpayami. When I do this, I'm offering a sense of smell to the divine. Om lam prithvyatmikayai gandham kalpayami. Once more, keep your thumb to the base of the little finger, and as you chant this, slowly pass this. And this chant you can practice, right? Om lam prithvyatmikayai gandham kalpayami. One more time. Om lam prithvyatmikayai gandham kalpayami. The prithvyatmikayai is one word, but I've just put a dash there just so you will understand it. If you're very new to Sanskrit, very new to chanting, then you can break prithvyatmikaya. Prithvya. So prithvi and vya, it becomes prithvyatmikaya. Prithvyatmikaya. Prithvi atmikaya. Prithvyatmikaya. Gandham kalpayami. So this is IAST, International Standards for Sanskrit transliteration. So lam prithvyatmikayai. So when there is a dash on top of a letter, it becomes longer. So atmikayai, not atmikayai, because there's a dash on top of a, it becomes a. Atmikayai gandham kalpayami. 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 No. Kalpayami. Okay. So Om lam prithvyatmikayai gandham kalpayami. Excellent. Let's go to the next one. I know I'm going a little slow on this, but I want to make sure that you understand this perfectly. So next time when we visit this, I will know that you got this under your belt. So now from Prithvi, where do we go? From Prithvi, we go to the thumb. So thumb is space. Remember, space is hum, akasha element. Om Ham Akashatmikaye Pushpam Kalpayami. So just as I offer the sense of smell, in space, what do I offer? Space is also subtle. So flowers represent the space element. It's symbolic of the space element because it blooms in space. It falls in space. Okay? So Om Ham Akashatmikayai Pushpam Kalpayami. Akashatmikai. Akasha Atmikai. So it is easy now. So there's no year and it is just Akashatmikayai. So if you notice the English letterings, it's strange because over the S on top there's a slant. There is a slash or a slant there. That makes the S as sh. So this is how you have to learn to read the IAST version of Sanskrit in English letters. So once you get used to this, it becomes easy. So just be a little patient with that. Instead of putting SH, it becomes, this is the right way to do it. So Om Hum. Om Hum Akashatmikayai Pushpam Kalpayami. Pushpam. Pushpa is flowers. I offer the flowers mentally. So I offer all the flowers and offer it to you from space. That means infinite flowers from all across the world. I offer it to the divine. It's a very beautiful a puja ritual, if you will. Very puja, very beautiful and very powerful at the same time, because you are tuning into every single element, and deep inside you, you are beginning to understand your integrated life with these elements. You'll automatically begin to respect each one of them. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is the forefinger, air element, Yam. Yam is Vayu. So, what does that mantra go? Now, what does Vayu do? Vayu, you offer incense sticks, incense, right? Incense stick is you burn the incense, and the wind brings that perfume to you. So that the smell to you, the sense of um, um, the breeze, if you will, brings a smell to you, correct? It's different from the sandalwood smell. Sandalwood, you have to take it close to your nose. It by itself, the sandalwood by itself smells. Here the incense burns and the wind has to bring it to you. So you use the wind and offer the wind element to the divine. And you just don't offer simply some wind, you offer a wind that smells also very beautiful, right? It's just a devotional way of doing that. So what do you say here? Dhupam. Dhupam is incense. Okay. Not perfumed candle, because candle becomes light, and deepam, that will come later. But this is incense. Incense. Okay. So Om Yam. Yam is the Bijakshara for the air element. Om Yam Vayavatmikaya. See, Vayu and Atma. So Vayavatmikaya. That's how it is spelled. Vayavatmikaya. It's not Vayuatmikaya. When you join Sanskrit two words, it changes the way it is said. Okay. So Vayavatmikaya. That is why I put a dash there. Usually it's said as one. So, and it'll come with practice. So be patient. Om Yam Vayavatmikaya Dhupam Kalpayami. So, what do we do here? So, let's try this chanting. We'll do it 3 times, doing the same ritual. Om Yam Vayavatmikaya Dhupam Kalpayami. Om Yam Vayavatmikaya Dhupam Kalpayami. Om Yam Vayavatmikaya Dhupam Kalpayami. Wonderful. We did Lam, we did Hum, we did Yam. The very fact that you're chanting these Bijakshara sounds itself is very powerful. Trust me. It'll take a while for that to sink in, and when you begin to practice and then begin when you later on begin to understand the mantras and all, these are all very powerful sounds. By themselves, they are triggering something inside us. Okay. But the mind is doing it as an offering. That's the beauty of it. There's a very beautiful combination of devotion, offering, and yet awakening that happens within. So these rituals are not some blind belief things. Please, I know I keep saying this again and again, but I believe in it so much that these are not some blind beliefs. The sounds are very specific, the actions are very specific. They're meant to trigger something at a very deep level. All right. Then we go to the 4. We finished. What did I do just now? Yeah, we just finished air. Okay. I think I mistook there. So I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. In the forefinger, it says forefinger air. I didn't change that slide because I was rushing to get this done. But ignore that part. It is Om Ram. Let's look at the mantra here. It is the fire element. So the fire element is Ram. Ram is the fire. Ram is what gives a lot of energy. That's why Ram, the word Ram has Ram in it. That's why Ram name is extremely powerful, because of the Agni Bija, Ram. So, Om Ram. So now what do? You take the thumb and rub it through the middle finger like this, right? So we'll come to that. Let's focus on the pronunciation. So just like you're joining Agni and Atma. So Agnyatmikayai, right? Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Om Ram. Ram is the Bijakshara mantra. Agnyatmikayai. Agni. I offer fire, the element of fire, the essence of fire. Atmikaya, the essence of fire in the form of a deepam. Deepam is a little lamp lit where fire is represented in the flame. So a candle, a lamp, anything that represents the fire element is offered here as a representation of the essence of the fire element. Okay? Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. It's not Deepam, it is Deepam because there is a dash on top of I. Whenever you see that dash, you know you have to expand that vowel. Okay, it's usually over the vowels. So Deepam. Deepam means a candle, a light, a jyoti, a flame. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Okay, so now let's do this. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. One more time. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. One more. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Beautiful. And the last one now, right? This is the last one. The last one is the water element. So how does that go? Again, I'm sorry, I didn't change that. Somehow I missed it. Okay. So the water element, again, focus on the mantra at the bottom. The water element Bijakshara is Vam. 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 Not Vam, but Vam. Om Vam Amritatmikayai. Amrita means nectar. So nectar is what I offer. Nectar is watery, right? Nectar is liquid. So nectar is what I offer as in essence to you. So in this case, since we really don't have the nectar that is believed to be there, right? It's not really in existence because nectar is the divine ambrosia, if you will. We don't have that. So in rituals, what they do is they will make prasad. And whatever prasad they make, they will say, this is the nectarine offering. I'm giving it to you. That's why usually prasads are sweet because they represent nectar. Okay? Honey, nectar, they're all sweet, right? So prasads are generally sweetened with jaggery and not with sugar. It was always traditionally done with jaggery, and jaggery is a healthy way to do it, incidentally. So you offer that in a normal puja, in a regular ritual. But what if you don't have prasad? Then kalpayami, mahanevedyam. Think of a divine, an array of divine dishes that you're offering as prasad, as the water element. There is a lot of implication in this mantra alone. When I offer the nevedyam and actual food, if you will, because you and I will see it as food, we offer that food and we relate it to the water element. Water element is related to the tongue. Tongue is related to taste. Now you see how that the whole thing becomes, we don't become slaves to taste. We have to make sure that whatever we are touching with that tip of our tongue has to be worthy of being offered to the divine. Because that is an offering that is going into you, right? Something to think about. Okay. So Om. So let's focus on the pronunciation a couple of times and then we'll practice this. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amrita Maha Naivedyam Kalpayami. Om Amritatmikayai Amrita Mahanevedyam. Naivedyam is offering prasad. So Mahanevedyam is a divine prasad I'm offering. So in your mind, you can imagine whatever you want. If it is Ganesha in front of you and if you're offering to him, you can say, okay, I'm offering all the most delicious laddus to you. If that's how you, if you can create that in your bhava, in your emotion, and if it flows through you, then let that be. Because in your kalpayami, you're offering that. All the tastiest and the most, the greatest delicacies that 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 are built from the water element is offered to you. Okay. So Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amrita Mahanevedyam Kalpayami. Because it is in this arena of imagination, you could imagine the divine ambrosia itself. What is there to stop us, right? So what I do is I imagine the divine ambrosia from the heavens. I say, this belongs to you. You take it. I offer what belongs to you back to you. I am just taking the pleasure of doing that offering. Not that it belongs to me and I have to offer it to you. Because everything belongs to the divine energy. And therefore, you're not taking something that already belongs, doesn't belong to you, to say, I'm offering it to you. You are just enjoying the pleasure of being that instrument, to be able to, just the pleasure, the joy of being able to offer something back to the divine. That's the whole attitude here. Okay. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. So now let's do it 3 times with this. Om Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. Wonderful. We did lam, hum, yam, ram, vam. So even if you're not doing a puja, if you have some few minutes to spare, and if you want to quickly revise what you learned, all you have to do is with your fingers do lam, hum, yam, ram, vam. Lam, hum, yam, ram, vam. Make sure you have the bijaksharas correctly written and go on practicing this till this gets really set. Just practicing these like this, a brief mudra at everyone, along with the bijakshara mantra alone, is a very powerful way to bring health and harmony back, because all these 5 elements are awakened. In Shavasana, in the yoga classes, when I say allow the innate wisdom in every cell to awaken, let the harmony happen, just watch it happening. This is what I mean. These are the practices that actually make it happen. So now you'll be able to correlate all this together. We are all in the same path. We are not trying different things here. So when I'm doing this, Om Lam, Om Hum, even if I don't want to chant Om, I go Lam, Hum, Yam, Ram, Vam. I can do it mentally. Lam. So obviously I can't do it mentally right now, but I'm just repeating it here. You can do it even mentally here. Lam, Hum, Yam, Ram, Vam. Important thing is make sure you learn the bijaksharas correctly. Don't mix them. Okay, you can afford to make a mistake here and there, but make sure you get it right. If you have any doubts, write it in the tip of your fingers initially, and even in the nights you can keep doing this just as a mantra chant, because what you're doing is you're beginning to harmonize these different energies with the sounds, starting with lam, hum, yam, ram, vam, lam, hum, yam, ram, vam, lam, hum, yam, ram, vam. So you're creating a very beautiful circular energy. So think of where you want to practice this. It's entirely up to you. You can practice this particular thing at any point in time, anywhere, at any place. You can do this. You can do it as a devotional offering like this. Once you know the mantra as well, you can offer this before meditation. Sitting here and let me offer all my elements, everything to the divine, and then go into deep meditation. So that will also help. If you simply want to sit and chant only the Bijakshara mantras, this is another nice way to practice. At night, if you don't have anything else, instead of thinking something, just allow your fingers to simply, you can use one hand, both hands if you feel to, or just mentally. Start with lum, go to hum, and then come down. Always create that, and mentally imagine you're creating a circular energy from hum, from lum, going all the way to hum, and then going back down. Just playfully try this. Okay, it's the least harmful um, exercise, because these bijakshara mantras, you can't go wrong with them. Of course, if you say ham instead of hum, it's not going to be as effective. Ha, ha is a sound, not ha or ha. Ha, hum, Hanuman, hum, ha. Ha is the one. So same thing with ya, ya, ha, ya, ra, va. So that is how it goes. La, la, ha, ya, ra, va. What we do is we add a bindu. The bindu of the om is always added. That's what adds to this, the energy to this. All of this lifts your consciousness to the bindu. That's why there is a dot on the om. That dot becomes bijakshara mantras, the one that gives power to these mantras. So la becomes lam. The mind goes, go to the bindu. So something for you to meditate upon, to think upon. What are we doing on time? Okay, we have some time here. All right. So I hope this was useful. Let's go and oh, and there's one more. And in the end of it all, then you say Sam Sarvatmikaye. Again, I missed that. Ignore the first sentence there. I apologize. I should have been more careful. Om Sam, towards the end. This is when you're doing a ritual. When you're doing for meditation, you can do this. But like I said, for other times, you can just do only those 5 Bijakshara mantras. This is to sum it up all, like a summary. The word sum comes. Okay? Sum, Om, Sam, Sarvatmikaye. So all of this I'm offering together to you. Sarvopachara pujan samarpayami. So this sarvopachara, so through this offering, I'm doing a complete puja. I'm offering this complete puja to you. Okay, in this particular sentence alone, I use the word samarpayami, because at the end of it, this offering is very real. This offering is all of this together. I'm offering a complete ritual to you. So this is always only a mental thing. Even in a real ritual, there is nothing that you're going to offer at this point in this. There is no particular incense sticks or lamp or anything else that you're going to offer here. So you're just saying Om Sam Sarvatmikaya, Sarvatmikaya, the essence of all of this. I am offering it as a complete puja, Sarvopachara puja. Sarvopachara. Upachara is all that is required. I fulfill all of those needs in these 5 offerings to you. Om Sam Sarvatmikaya Sarvopachara Pujam Samarpayami. Pujam Samarpayami. Okay, once again. Om. So you can just keep your hands together and do this, or slowly with this you can go into Chin Mudra and go into meditation or japa if you are doing this as a preliminary practice. Om Sam Sarvatmikayai Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayami. Om Sam Sarvatmikayai Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayami. That's it. So this completes the ritual. So guess what? Once you learn this, then you are, this is endorsed by the ancient practices. Okay, this is not something that somebody came up with in the last 50, 100 years. This has been practiced for hundreds and hundreds of years. So this is the shortest but very effective form of offering a complete puja or a complete ritual to the deity in front of you, to the energy in front of you, to the God in front of you, to the Guru in front of you. Pancho pachara, all the 5 elements that this creation comprises of, you have offered it. There is nothing more to offer now, right? And then you go into deep contemplation. So it's a very beautiful, beautiful practice. It might seem simple for those of you who know Sanskrit. For those of you who don't know Sanskrit, there might be a little learning to do. a learning of the mantras, but it is worth your effort, because then now you could say that you are doing, it is equivalent to a 2 hour puja, where if you do this mindfully, it's equivalent to a 2 hour puja. So why do we then do the 2 hour puja? It's for you get into more details. It's all done for the joy of it. None of this is done out of fear. Please don't practice this out of fear. Oh my God, I hope I'm doing it correctly. Then go back to this video, see it again and again and again, learn the pronunciations correctly. And once you learn it, then go on practicing it out of joy. Sheer joy, offer all of this to the divine. Then you begin to respect these elements. You begin to understand that these elements have all a lot of divine energies in them, and therefore I'm offering all of this to the divine. Life itself becomes an offering. So let us quickly revise each of these mantras. This is a little shorter here because I wanted all of them to come in. So we start with the first one. Om Lam Prithvyatmikayai Gandham Kalpayami. And then we go to the next one. Om Ham Akashatmikayai Pushpam Kalpayami. After Lam and Hum comes Yam. Okay. Then we go to Om Yam Vaivatmikayai Dhupam Kalpayami. Then comes Ram, Agni. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Don't get confused between Dhupam and Deepam. Dhupam is incense. Deepam is Jyoti, a flame, a lamp. Okay? So Deepam is flame, Dhupam is incense. Remember that. Don't get confused there. And then comes Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. And then towards the end, Om Sam Sarvatmikayai Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayami. How beautiful is that? How simple is that? It just takes 1 or 2 minutes, and time is not of essence. But in that 1 minute, as you meditate on each one, the mind just opens up so much, right? You are in tune with Mother Nature. You're tuned with every aspect of creation. Suddenly your consciousness expands. And when you practice this every day, when you say this every day or as often as you can, then when you go in Shavasana and you say expand the consciousness, now you begin to understand Hum, Yam, Ram, Bham, Lam, all of that. Suddenly it begins to open up. So I think we will stop today with this class. I know I might be ending 5 minutes earlier. That's very unlike me, because I have so much to share, but I don't want to start another topic and leave you in a lurch. But I want to keep this class focused on this mantra. So I'll take this another 3 minutes. Let's go through this one more time, and we'll repeat each one with the action, so you know once and for all what is pancho pachara puja. Okay? So we start reverentially with the tip of the thumb on the base of the little finger. So from the base you move up always. Okay? So Om Lam Prithvyatmikayai Gandham Kalpayami. Om Ham Akashatmikayai Pushpam Kalpayami. Om Yam Vaivatmikayai Dhupam Kalpayami. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. Om Sam Sarvatmikayai Sarvopachara Pujam Samarpayami. Let's try that one more time. This time, I want you to think of your deity, your chosen guru, God, whatever you want to imagine, that you want to offer all of this to this chosen name and form. So keep that deity in your mind and let's begin. Om Lam Prithvyatmikayai Gandham Kalpayami. Om Ham Akashatmikayai Pushpam Kalpayami. Om Yam Vayuvatmikayai Dhupam Kalpayami. Om Ram Agnyatmikayai Deepam Kalpayami. Om Vam Amritatmikayai Amritamahanevedyam Kalpayami. Om Sam Sarvatmikayai Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayami. And that is it. So, this particular section was not really planned in my head, at least. But the other day, when I put that video and I was watching the video as I was relaying it, I realized that I cannot leave y'all just saying, explain one finger. So I thought, I asked y'all, and almost everyone responded saying that you wanted the mantra. So I'm hoping that this class was useful. These mantras are out there. You can always pause the video and write down these mantras so you know them and you're able to pronounce them correctly. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to text me or write to me, send an email, sundar@kyg.org, or you can send me a WhatsApp text at 1-440-506-0125. Until we see you again, until we all meet again in this class, which is the day after tomorrow, I believe, Friday. Stay blessed, stay inspired, stay safe, be well. As always, let's end this class with one Om and three Shantis. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.